Hello there. My name is Teacher Peter here at Native Camp. I'm one of the native speakers. I do come from United States of America, beautiful city of Philadelphia. Of course, Pennsylvania is the state. I am an international teacher. Also, I have been teaching in South America in places like Colombia, Peru, Argentina, even Chile. And right now I'm currently in Peru. And welcome everyone. Thank you.
All right, so hello everyone. My name is Teacher Mel. I am currently in Orlando, Florida, and so I also teach to other nationalities too. I teach to Brazilians and to Spanish speakers here in America, where I currently live, and yeah, that's about it. So welcome, guys.
Awesome.
My name's Christopher Kane. I come from Cleveland, Ohio, the birthplace of rock and roll and home of the Burning River. And I am an international teacher, and I'm happy to help you. This is great to do. I am honored to take this journey with you.
The first one is, common characteristics of students who speak English well, right? So basically, if I may start, just to give out the quick example, a lot of students that do learn the English and they're at an advanced level, I think they aren't afraid to make mistakes. A lot of students at the beginning, they're really shy. They're really afraid to make any little mistakes, and it really sets them back. But these students have already gone through that journey. All right. They already know that making mistakes is the process. Where you fail is where you succeed. And I think a lot of these students that are in an advanced level, they understand this. They're not afraid to make mistakes. They know that it's the process, of course. That's one of them, of course.
I agree. Absolutely.
Yeah. So there is this cool idiom that says if you want to improve your success rate, double your risk rate. So
Absolutely.
then that will help you improve English. Some other things that I noticed with my students is that they are always so motivated and so into learning English, and so much so that they kind of like connect everything to their lives to English. So like, for example, thinking in English, which is a very difficult skill for foreigners to acquire. So thinking in English is something that I really noticed that they do when achieving an advanced level in English.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I totally agree with both of you. Yeah, the English is not a perfect language. It's a mess of a language. It comes from Latin and many different variations and dialects. And it makes it, if you have to wrestle your mouth to speak it. And even the best speakers, including the presidents of the United States, sometimes do not give good speeches because they have to watch their words. They have to read other people's words. So the more natural you can be, that's when people will listen to you. It's about being comfortable and confident and relaxed and just being yourself, because that's the best thing you have with English, is just letting your personality out.
Absolutely. Yes. They do also take a lot of responsibility for their learning. You can a lot of students tend to, you can hire the best teachers ever and as many classes as possible. You can have the great resources, but at the end of the day, it's you who has to put in the work. And these students know that this is what they need to do. They need to be consistent. They need to come at least 5 times a week so they can incorporate the English language into their life, and they know that process.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, some other little things I've noticed with my advanced students is that in terms of speaking level, I've noticed that like their sentences are longer and more concise. They use adverbs or like connection words easier, and linking sounds is a little bit easier for them to understand and grasp. In pronunciation wise, is something that it's still something they are improving, but they want to speak exactly like Americans do without a foreign accent. So it's something that like I work a lot with my students is to speak actually like American and remove like little markers or accent markers that a foreigner would bring with the custom of their own language.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree too.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I also think using your hands helps with English as well. You know, studies do show that people listen to you more, and it kind of distracts ourselves from criticizing ourselves so that we can just let our brain do what it knows how to do. Sometimes we look for the answers, and if you're in a conversation looking for an answer, you may miss the conversation. You're not present. But if you are just feeling what you say and using your hands may aid in that, you will be more understandable and understand more potentially.
Yeah, I agree. You made a great point there, because you know, a lot of students, especially Japanese students, they tend to not use hand gestures, right? That's it.
It doesn't mean anything. The hand gestures don't mean anything, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But once they start using their hands, that's more like they're kind of using our style, right? Like, hey, how you doing? Yeah, you know, tapping, hey, everything's gonna be okay. And these like gestures are just very important. And when they start using those, I'm like, okay, he gets it.
And comfortable. You can tell they're comfortable, and that makes the listener relax and the other person.
Exactly. More expressive, I guess. Yes, you can express yourself a little better with your hand gestures to make a point a little stronger.
Yeah. I think it's common with a lot of Latin-derived languages using the hands. I think it is because it is such of a messy language. The word Japanese is efficient.
Yeah, right.
It isn't the same. I saw one guy. I was in Italy once, and a man was yelling on the phone at somebody like this. And then he put the phone down on the ground so that he could yell at that person with two hands with the phone on the ground, you know? And
that's hilarious.
Yeah, like we say in the USA, it's not what you say, but it's like how you say it, right? That you can talk perfectly like a robot, but no one's going to listen to you, maybe. You know? But if you speak with your heart and actually connect with and be present, you're gonna do a good job.
Absolutely. Yes. Okay. So we do. Let's go to the next one. What do you think? Oh, okay. Like common phrases that Japanese students use that are not that. Okay. Well, one thing that I have noticed is that they have this they kind of get this Western thing that, you know, we are a little bit lazy. We say fridge, right? We say cuz. Right, and these things, they actually like using these because it's very easy for them, right? So I believe that these need to change. They need to learn the right way to say refrigerator, right, or because instead of just fridge, or cause this, or because of that. I think it's very important for them to know that it's the first time you need to learn it the right way, and then you can be a little lazy about it if you like, but only with your friends, obviously, right? If you are at a meeting or something, you can't be using these short-term words.
Yeah, to be taken more seriously, for sure.
Yeah, and something I notice is the battle between the formality and the casuality. So when should I use this, or when should I use that? I even had an example, like they asked, what should I say? Should I say I will take a note? Should I say let me what was it, like may I, or instead of asking your name, or may I speak to who am I speaking to? So like these different phrases, instead of like, what's your name? Let me write down your name here. No, who am I speaking to? So like, which is more formal, which is more informal, and in which situations could I use each one, is something that I always get, and I always like to teach both and give them the ability of choosing what exactly they like to use depending on their formality level, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, I totally get it. Yeah, I have the same. Yeah, that's a great point. And I, sometimes that also makes me think, pronunciation, like you help very good with pronunciation, Melanie. You do help your students with pronunciation. But sometimes maybe there's a student may be too focused on pronunciation And in the United States, for example, if you came to the United States with an accent, that is kind of if to an intellectual crowd as much, we can tell, hey, you speak multiple languages, so it's actually something to be proud of. Maybe less be less, if you want to speak better English, maybe the pronunciation isn't the most important thing to target, you know. It's I don't know how you guys think about the and the, you know, and in USA we don't have, I get it, there is a specific rule between the and the, but we ignore
the articles.
I've never seen any use of, do you make a distinction between the and the? I'm thinking they can use interchangeably and not really have to worry as much about the rules behind that. But what do you think about that?
Well, I absolutely agree. I agree. A lot of students some of them follow the rules, some of them don't, you know, but I think that overall really depends on the students. You know, some students need a little bit more of grammar, a little bit more pronunciation, but I absolutely agree with what you just said.
Yeah, you know, I mean, and also in conversations maybe in Japan are more polite in that people take turns speaking, but in you know, in more in American especially culture, the conversation is an interchange, you know. So when you feel something, you should say it, and when you're listening, you should really be listening. And sometimes if we're waiting for someone to stop speaking so we can speak, we're not as engaged in the conversation as we could be.
Absolutely.
Well, I like to separate pronunciation and accent.
Yes.
So these are two, for me, they are two different things. So, and I always express that to my students, that accents are not bad. Accents are good because they provide from where we are. They tell people where we are from, right? And pronunciation, it depends on how you want to say it, but it also, you have to like be understood, right? Like present and present, or no, like when a word has two different intonations and but two different meanings. So you have to be understood which word are you talking about. And so that's what I try to focus on, I like that. To help them to understand the difference between pronunciation and accent. But I noticed that like when Japanese speakers don't usually, like advanced even, don't use too many English expressions. That's what I've been noticing. Like, what do you guys think? Like, for example, idioms or natural spoken expressions. Do you guys notice anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of them that are visual. A lot of English things have to do with roads and paths and, you know, different, you know, walking on eggshells. Like, what is, you know, like, you know, so there's so many of those that if you're an advanced English speaker, the way you're going to learn those is just by diving in head first without fear into English and consuming as much English as possible. And, you know, taking classes with Melanie and Peter often, and, you know, sharpening your English skill, because that's really what it comes down to. You're gonna pick it up like a sponge.
Absolutely agree. So we have one more topic, I think, right? So we can finish strong. Which is the last one? I'm sorry. Melanie, I think you know.
Well, I think we kind of went through the unique expressions that Japanese normally use, and we skipped the habits and idea about learning. So it is a little bit different. Yeah. So like, for example, some habits that, so habits and idea about learning that needs to be changed in order to speak English. So for example, just having one lesson a week. That's a habit that should be changed if you really want to improve English. So you have to have more classes if you can't have more classes, you have to improve your self-teaching skills and try to apply English as much as possible in your daily life. So that's something very important for that has to be changed to improve English.
Yes, it must be changed. I encourage a lot of my students. I'm like, please, if you really want to learn the English language and absorb as much as possible, take I say the most 5, because you want to take a little break, obviously, so you can practice it a little bit, and 5 days a week, just like a normal student. But the least I think is 3, because a lot of my students, they work long hours and stuff, so it's a little difficult for them. So I don't tend to push them too much, because I tend to get I don't know, I guess discouraged. But for me, I think that it's important for them to have the 5 classes a week, definitely. Whenever you have some time, please. Obviously with Chris and Melanie and myself.
Yeah, it's a process. You have to, well, I like the idea that you were saying earlier about perfection. Perfection is, I mean, if any of us wanted to be perfect, we couldn't open our mouths in any language.
Yes.
We can be misunderstood. We can offend somebody accidentally. So to require perfection of yourself is ridiculous. It's just, all it is just one step at a time, one class at a time. Get your brain's got that. Go to the next class, keep going, and then trust in what you've learned. Let it work for you.
Yeah, definitely. I want all my students to find the opportunity to open their mouth and start making mistakes, because it's just absolutely important. Yeah, definitely. I totally agree.
Yeah, I mean, like we were saying, idioms, expressions, they would be difficult to make up if we had to make one up, right? So you just have to gather them like they are these little presents you learn when you learn the other. But also, from other languages and from people that speak other languages, I hear really interesting ways of looking at things that I've never heard before. So I think it's really something to be proud of. You speak multiple languages, and it's a different perspective, and that's what makes English. It will improve English from having different input from different countries and different languages.
Yeah. Well, last comment that I like to make is, well, if you want to really improve your English and also your self-teaching skills, or like the continuing of your practice, right? I also suggest a lot for the students to keep reading. And the focus is not only the reading skills, but reading aloud is a way to practice speaking without, when I don't have a lesson now. What am I going to do? I need to practice English. I'll read aloud. And it's a good way for them to keep on practicing, not just speaking, but listening, comprehension, pronunciation, all together. So little bit every day. That's what I usually suggest, like 10 minutes of reading every day will actually make a lot of difference with your English practice along the way.
Definitely. One thing I would suggest, just to make one last little thing, because I know that we have to go soon, especially Melanie. Yes, one last thing is we have to be consistent. Our students need to be consistent. All right. Yeah, incorporate the English language in your life. Little things like, listen, for example, I love listening to Michael Jackson. All right. Listening to Michael Jackson is very simple. He has these very simple lyrics, right? And so I do encourage my students to incorporate a little bit of music when watching TV. Hey, why not put the subtitles so that way you can read, and not only your reading skills are there, but also your listening. So right there, incorporate when you're not having classes. Just try to, have the English language in your face at all times, and even right here too.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for being here, and keep practicing. Don't give up. You can do this. And well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. It's been an honor to speak with you, and just be yourself and let your personality shine. That way you can be understood in many different ways.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with both you guys. Yeah, just keep on practicing, keep being consistent. Do not give up. Don't think, this is not this is not that. Try to see the fun in it. And I think that it's baby steps. Remember, it's just baby steps, but I think it's a good process. It's going to be a fun for you. And obviously, thank you for coming and listening to us. And I hope to see you guys again, of course. See ya.
All right. See ya.
Bye. Thank you.